I really like the film a lot, and one of the things I kept thinking about was, do you think that having the cancellation and the postponement is going to shape the way some people take the film now? Like they're going to walk in with wild expectations about some big controversy that was manufactured. And
that's a great question, and I think like one of my biggest fears, oddly, is that the movie is disappointing
Right.
in that it wasn't provocative enough. But at the same time, like I feel relieved that people are seeing the movie that we made.
Yeah.
I think it feels ridiculous to say this given a full understanding of what happened, but we were genuinely caught off guard and surprised by what happened because we don't feel like the movie was dangerous or provocative or divisive. It was presenting a divisive culture, but we feel like it was very sort of even-handed and entertaining in its presentation. And so the idea, I'm completely fine with people coming out of this movie saying like, wow, I really expected to be wildly offended. And I am like, I'm kind of okay.
I'm offended that I'm not offended.
Right, exactly.
well, I mean, that would probably be par for the course in the current discourse.
Right. I'll tell you what, I'm going to stand outside of major cinemas and insult people as they walk out, like
Really?
like the Mr. Potato Head in Disneyland that just heckles people.
Is that what he does?
Oh yeah, it's like Don Rickles' voice in California Adventure, and it just like it's an AI that heckles you, and it'll be like, "Hey, you, Four Eyes," and I'll be like, "What the hell, Don? I've been waiting in line for 2 hours, and I'm getting heckled by an animatronic Mr. Potato Head." It's a true story.
I think your performance is remarkable in this. I mean, I love your work on Glow, and I have to imagine a lot of that physicality came in handy here as well. But I'm more impressed, I think, by this like supernatural acting power you have, where like every fiber of your being, like I see it. All of you from head to toe is like acting.
That means so much to me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It really is supernatural.
It is. That's the.
Yes.
I mean, I listened to your interview on Marin, and I love the way that your brain works. So I guess I'm just kind of wanting you to talk a little bit about getting into the skin of this character and what that was like.
Yeah. Craig Zobel, the director, and I developed this shorthand that we wanted to show different sides of Crystal very subtly, and we would do a take where it was her Terminator take, and we would do a take where she was maybe on this side of things, and take where she was on this side of things, and then we would do a baby dinosaur take, and baby dinosaur was code for, because when we were discussing her, I was like, yeah, I think she's a laser-focused panther, and she's, Medea with blood in her teeth, but also I think she's baby dinosaur. And he was like, yeah. And we never had to discuss, but a lot of the baby dinosaur takes made it into the movie. Just the weirdest baby dinosaur.
I love that. And so my editor has given me a missive to ask you this one last question.
Please.
On your next series project, or whatever your next project may be, would you want to work with Trent and Atticus again?
That's a great question. The answer is absolutely. I mean, if there's one thing that I learned, I had this dumb rule that I don't work with actors on the same project twice, because I sort of feel like, that opens space for me to get out of my comfort zone. You take someone like Crystal, for example. She exists on the page, but then she doesn't really exist until Betty slips her on and then makes her own. So we're like kind of co-parents. I feel the same way about music, which is I heard Trent and Atticus's music and I suddenly understood what Watchmen sounded like. And so that the idea of kind of going into something blind, the excitement of a new collaboration and a new partnership. But that said, I'm now getting into a phase of my life where when you work with people who are geniuses, like Betty or Regina King or Trent and Atticus, you just basically beg them to do it over and over again. So I'm hoping to be to convince them to do so.
Maybe with year zero.
Yes, maybe. We'll see.
Oh, okay.
We'll see. We'll see.
Thank you both so much for your time. It was
Appreciate
wonderful to meet you.
Thanks. Same here.